Some people treat relationships like an unwanted pregnancy. They abort it because it doesn't suit their circumstances. And then they go on later to have someone else in their life because they think that by not trying to put the effort in anymore, or they're losing interest, or the feelings they had for that person are no longer kept alive, they decide, well, see you later. Relationships take both people to put the effort in, but not just one person can do it. If both people, when they meet, have the opportunity and they are that wanting to make and build a relationship from a meeting, they can do that very easily because it's fresh, it's exciting, it's a new person altogether, it's a discovery. Sometimes it's better to know the person for all their faults, for all their shortcomings, all their good points, all their bad points. I mean, honestly, not every single person you meet who puts on that perfect exterior is perfect throughout. They will have problems, and you may be surprised that when this person begins to reveal these problems, they may be very similar to what you've already known through someone else that you might have spent years with. But because you've outgrown that person that you spent years with, you're looking for excitement. The saddest part is that people that go looking for the excitement are the ones who will put 100% into that new, fresh relationship because they want to keep something exciting in their life. But why can't they do that with the one they've got? And there's the cop-out. I've done it before. Well, I'm afraid relationships take work. They don't just happen. They don't just fall into place and everyone's happy and everything's rosy. You've got to work at it. It's like having to work at keeping things maintained. If you don't do the housework, it's going to get beyond you. And then you're going to look at it and think, I don't even want to touch it. Why do I bother? And that's how relationships are. People say, why do I bother? Well, you should bother. If you can be bothered putting the effort and energy into a relationship that's new, and you don't know the person, and you don't know what you're in for, you don't know what this person might have like a short fuse. Something you do might remind them of their ex. Where are you going to be? You're going to be sitting there feeling compared. If you leave somebody for something else and you haven't even given yourself time to know you and be happy with who you are, and not just because you're changing yourself for somebody else. That's not what happens. When you are changing yourself to fit a preconceived image you want others to have of you, then what's going to happen then is you will become very disappointed, very delusioned over what you want. You can't fix things by leaving. And if there are children involved, don't you owe it to them to stand up and show them that you put work into something? Do you tell a child that they get money for doing nothing? Are you educating your child that you're going to be loved for not putting any effort into a relationship? What you're doing by showing a child that when the going gets tough, you get going, is already forming that child's opinion of their future relationships. And that's sad, because it then becomes a cycle. That child goes into a relationship, it starts getting hard, they don't like the rules. I mean, there shouldn't be rules, but I mean, they don't want to put the effort in because it means having to give something of themselves. And they might do it for a short time, maybe 6 months, maybe 12 months. And then the honeymoon period is over. And you have to be with that person. And you're going to see all their faults. You're going to see all their problems. You're going to have times where this person might not be 100%. They might not even want to give you any intercourse. Let's be blunt. Some people don't want to do it all the time. Some people don't want to do it at all. They just want the company. And there are certain things that affect a person. If that person is feeling that their partner isn't attracted to them, it's not a matter of that's going to change them into being more motivated and in making themselves look good. If that person isn't wanting to give them any attention, and whenever they talk to them, they just shut them down, or whenever they see them, all they see is the back of their head because they're too busy looking at their iPhone or they're too busy on the computer to notice they exist. When a new relationship is entered, think about how you are. Think about how that person is being spoilt. They're shown that they are the apple of your eye because this is the Rosie time. This is the time where all the attention is bestowed because it's something new. But remember, it's not another person that changes a person. You have to change yourself. And if you can do it for a new relationship, you can do it for an existing one. But if you're not prepared to, you've just taken years of your life and put it down the drain. And although you may have this selfish attitude that I have only myself to think about, you might have kids. And those kids are going to start having to adjust. But you know what else I discover? It's not only kids that suffer. If you've got pets and all they've known is that person who has decided to walk out, they can fret. And seeing an animal lift its head at every sound of a car going by, wanting to go outside and then wanting to come inside because they just want to know, where is this person? Where has my master gone? It's sad. They're not property. Children aren't property. And they're not little pawns in a sandwich where people can just use them, especially if they're at an age where the other person that they meet up with happens to have children as well. While those kids are being entertained with one another, you've got time together. That's not having quality time with that child. And then, if you are in denial with your current partner and you are seeing somebody else behind their back and you say to this other person that you're seeing that that person doesn't matter to you, that you've got no feelings for them, yet you can't come out and openly admit to that person you've met somebody else, but you are still protecting them from finding out? What does that say? Are they there as a spare wheel so that if anything happens in this new relationship, you can bounce back and pop on that spare wheel again? No one should be second best. You wouldn't want it doing this to you, so why do it to somebody else? Relationships take time. They don't just happen straight away, and you can't say that a person makes you feel great with only knowing them intimately for a month or so. You cannot say that, because in comparison to years, it's a fad. Sure, there are some relationships that just work out. But if you can't deal with problems, or a person having another opinion to you, or a person being strong and saying no because you want everything your way, then you shouldn't be in a relationship at all. Sometimes we look for excitement in our life. It's normal. Everybody's human. No one's perfect. And that's what people forget. We are told through our little fairy tale stories, the happily ever after. You know what? It's bullshit. The only happy ever after is what you make of it, because you have put the time and energy into moulding this relationship into something fantastic. But if you think that relationship is just going to survive on nothing, it's like taking firewood out of the fireplace and expecting a flame to still be there. It's not going to work. And especially where kids are concerned. Especially where kids are concerned. If they can see role models, which are what parents are, they see their parents will have problems. Sure, it's normal. But if they don't see those parents trying to do whatever they can together to make this relationship stronger and unbreakable, then that child's opinion of a future relationship is in your hands right now. Are you going to sit there later when your child's an adult and pat yourself on the back and say, I did a bloody fantastic job as a parent because now my child has had the same failed relationship I had? They don't know how to put in anything to a relationship because they had no education on it. They had no one to show them. No one's perfect. But if you can put as much enthusiasm in a new relationship to make that exciting, you can do that with your existing relationship, or with the mother or the father of your child. Think about it. What does it take? Why be selfish? And especially if you've got children. You can change their whole life just by guiding them. Lead by example. And think about how you'd feel if later on your child met somebody and they walked out on them and left them with a child, or took the child. Think of how you would feel seeing history repeat itself, but you are now on the outside looking in, seeing it happen all over to your child. You know, they say life sucks, and to a degree it does, because we all expect everything to be perfect. We all have this grand illusion that everything is going to be absolutely rosy throughout a whole relationship. But who do you know better? The new one, or the one you've had years with? And if there is any chance that that particular relationship has both people willing to meet each other like new people again and put that same enthusiasm back, imagine the deep meaning behind that relationship. Imagine how that child's going to feel seeing their parents happy. And imagine those animals won't feel so abandoned. Nothing's fair. And it's not just one person's fault. It's both people. But just remember, in time, the honeymoon is over and reality begins. Are you going to deal with it, or are you going to do the same thing again? Abort the relationship like an unwanted child. Well, that's my thought for the day. Maybe through my words, I can help reach people before they get to that point.